Hey guys, it is currently 5:05 in the morning on the 10th, and things have been relatively slow, but still relatively okay this morning. I've soaked my hands twice to help with my knuckles a little bit. I've had the heater on and off, but I've still been cold, so my hands have been cold. And my one hand is just having a lot of issues in general with dryness and some breakout that's probably related to eczema, but you know, par for the course. But then, of course, the normal joint pain and all of that. But I do have all of my other braces on. I just haven't been wearing the gloves a lot. I need to shrink them again before they can work while I'm typing. I can wear them if I'm not typing because they don't get in the way that way. But I need to shrink them so they actually fit around my knuckles again before I can actively wear them and type easily at the same time, if that makes sense. But outside of that, I have worked on Always Watching, Untitled Mysteries, and The Kidnapping of Eve Lincoln. So I started with Always Watching. I wrote 774 words there. I moved on to Untitled Mysteries. I wrote 913 words there. And then I moved on to The Kidnapping of Eve Lincoln, and I wrote 2,078 words there. Because I do not think that I have mentioned The Kidnapping of Eve Lincoln in this series yet, I will say that that is Carver Baxter Book 1. Carver Baxter were characters that I wrote way back in, 2013, maybe? Back before I even knew how to write characters. And back then, Carver was a secondary character in a zombie book, which was all that I wrote at the time. It was before I wrote detective books. Although at that point I had written one detective novel fully on notebook paper in middle school. But Lisa was the main character, which is Carver's wife in the Carver Baxter series, Kenneth Carver. Lisa was the main character of the zombie novel, and then she meets Ken halfway through that book, and he's an absolutely terrible person, but of course she loves him because bad boys and all of that. It's terrible. It was based upon what I had read in other books, and it was god-awful, and I am 100% willing to admit that. That book has gone through probably 7 or 8 rewrites, all of them featuring Lisa and Ken, and eventually some of them even featured Alex Baxter, which is his partner in this series, and Alex's boyfriend, Danny. It features all of them eventually in the rewrites, but eventually I decided to write them as cops, because in the zombie series they were cops. Ken was a cop, Alex was a cop, and in some rewrites Danny is a cop, and in some rewrites he is a forensic analyst. He is a forensic tech in the Carver Baxter series. They all work at a sheriff's department, which is new to this series this time around. The first time that I wrote this book, because book 1 of the Carver Baxter series has also been rewritten several times. This is the 3rd time I've rewritten it, I believe. The first 2 times it was called A Rose by Any Other Name, and it was about a completely different case, and there were at least 2, if not 3, cases featured in it. This is only going to be 1 case, and it is The Kidnapping of Eve Lincoln. It's also the introduction to Ken joining the police department, or the sheriff's department, and adjusting back to civilian life after being in the military for many, many years. He joined after high school when he was 18, and he's now in his late 20s, I think. I would have to do the math, but I don't have my notebook anywhere near me at the moment. But this book primarily focuses on one case only as far as I can tell. Potentially one other very, very small case, like a domestic or patrol or something, but the kidnapping is the primary case, and there will be no other main cases outside of that. But in the first edition of this book, they worked at a police station in Webster City, Iowa. In the second rewrite, they worked in a police station in Algona, Iowa, because all of my books take place in the same universe, except for a very select few. Like my book about the lost city of Z does not take place in the same universe as all my other books, or else Bo would be in it, and Bo would steal the show, so you can't do that. But the second one was written for Algona because the Ashley Jones trilogy takes place in Webster's police department, which is actually a sheriff's department in real life, by the way. And it didn't make sense for them to be in the same place in different years. Carver's book takes place in 2004. Ashley's took place in 2014, I think. It just didn't make sense because in 2014 he's still working at the sheriff's department, but he was never featured in Ashley's book. So this time he is centered in Eldora, I believe is the name of the city. I was literally just looking at it. But that is where the sheriff's department resides for Hardin County in Iowa, so that is where this one is located. I actually think Carver at one point or another is featured in the Kathy Baker series, but that's not really something that matters entirely because I'm not writing any of my books to match what is in those anymore. I did with the Bo Austin series in the beginning, and all of the scenes that are directly related to Kathy's series make me cringe big time, even though I love Bo very, very dearly. So that's something that I'll have to work out in editing. But with this one, so far, things are going relatively well. Ken has just finally met Alex. We're 7,445 words into the book, and Alex's introduction makes him seem like the biggest douchebag in the world, but he comes into work almost an hour late, and then sits down on Ken's desk, and then he pokes fun at Ken's accent, because Ken is from South Carolina, now living in the middle of the Midwest in a basically little town in the middle of nowhere. Although that's an actual town, it's not like just countryside, it's still a town. And it's not an accent that, you know, Alex has heard a lot, and he pokes fun at the slow southern drawl, and Ken also just has a few characteristics in the way that he, like, poses questions, and Alex pokes fun at them, and then Ken threatens to beat his ass, and then Alex jumps down from his desk and, with a smile, still says, "Hello, I'm Alex Baxter, we're partners." And it's one of my favorite character introductions, I think, because it's very on par for Alex Baxter. He's very out there, he's very extravagant, he is who he is, and he doesn't want to hide who he is from anyone, ever. He wants to be him, and what other people think of it is whatever, he doesn't care. And I think that is something he has had since the very beginning, even way back when I first wrote him, when I couldn't write characters. He's always been Alex. He's always been very true to who he is, no matter what. And that scene has remained mostly the same. There have been a few changes. I removed a few things because they just didn't make sense for Alex or Ken. But it makes a lot more sense now, and I'm much happier with it, and that is something. But anyway, at the moment, I just finished chapter 4 of this book, and again, 7,445 words. So some of the chapters are much closer to like 2,000 words. This last one was, because in the original books, every single day takes up one chapter, no matter how long that day is. And that's how I've been doing this, but honestly, I don't like that formatting. So I'm going to sit down here, now that I have met my written goal for the day, which is 3,765 words written for today. So now that I have met my written goal, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to go through all of these chapters, find better chapter breaks for them that take place after 1,000 words. My chapters are always, usually always, depends on the chapter of course, over 1,000 words, but I don't like going over 2,000 if it's not needed. If it is needed, whatever, length is length. You know, if it needs to be a longer chapter, it can be. But I don't want all of them to be set up that way, because it hinders what I can and can't do. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to reorganize the chapters, and I'm going to potentially break up the way that they're originally organized. I will open it up on my phone and show you how they're currently organized. So this is chapter 5. There we go. We've got chapter 5, the date, and then the time here, and all of the scene breaks in here are the times. And that's okay. I have that more or less in the Bo Austin series, although it's more like the time and then the place, and then an even more distinct location within the bigger place. So like Clinstone, Little Delights Diner, that kind of thing. And I like that organization. I don't think that is necessary for this book, but I would like a different variation of chapters and scene breaks, because the further away that I step from the rewrite, I think the better chance it gives me to actually successfully write this one this time. Because in the past, I have had many troubles with this book. When it was originally a Rose by Any Other Name and it focused on the other cases, I normally was able to rewrite that one. The last time around, I was able to write a second book that was brand new, and then the third book in the series was supposed to be a rewrite of the original second book, but I never got around to it because by the time I got there, everything felt the same. I felt like I was in the same place of, this is exactly as it used to be. I still don't like it. The characters aren't characters. They're one-dimensional. They're caricatures, and something needs to change. And I think I have changed a few things by making the first book completely different, except for like the introductions leading up to the main case. But outside of that, I think breaking up the chapters differently and the way that the chapters are set up and making those a little different might also help. So since I have met my word goal, that is what I'm going to do next. I don't know if it'll make a huge difference tonight or not, but that's where I'm going to start, and then I will give you guys an update at some point. I don't know if I'll do some more writing tonight or what, or this morning, sorry. But regardless, I will give you an update on the chapter situation when I get there, and then we'll go from there. Alright, sorry for the darkness. I'm recording on my phone because my iPad is uploading the last video that I recorded to Google Photos right now, so I can't use it. I went through all 4 chapters that are written so far, and only one of them is above 2,000 words, and it's chapter 4, and it's like 2,087, so none of the chapters need to be divided, which is great. But I also think that one of the issues is that it's always been called the Carver-Baxter series, but Carver is the only point of view character. On very rare occasions we get insight into Alex's mind, Baxter, but that's it. There's like there's nothing else, and I think that needs to change. So I think at the moment I'm going to keep going, and then after we meet Alex, some of the chapters will be from his point of view and some of them will be from Ken's. I don't think it will be a consistent change. Like, I don't think it will be Ken and then Alex and then Ken and then Alex. But we'll see what happens, and maybe that will help fix things. I don't know, but I think since it's called the Carver-Baxter series and not just Kenneth Carver series, like the Beau Austin series is just called the Beau Austin series, I think having them both be point of view characters every now and then will help shift things. Ken can still be the main character, but his partner still needs to have certain point of views that we see into his life and through his eyes too, I think. So I'm going to keep things as they are for right now, and we'll go with that addition later on and see what the heck happens. Alrighty, it's 8:08 a.m. I apologize for the birds. I didn't get back to writing, but I have been working on the pride sketch. I think you can see that, sorta. There we go. I've shaded only her skin, so her shirt still needs to be shaded, her hair still needs to be highlighted and shaded, the shirt has to have a few highlights, and then I still need to do her face, and she also has a baseball cap on. And then after that I need to clean up the lines here where her shirt overlaps the flag, but I'll get to that at the end. But that is all I can handle for right now. I'm not tired, but their chirps are echoing in my head really bad, which happens sometimes, not always, but sometimes it does, and it's very difficult to stand and tolerate. So even though I'm not tired, I am going to go back to my room and lay down until I fall asleep, because I cannot handle this anymore. Especially the one high-pitched asshole that keeps chirping. His name is Chewy, and I hate his guts with a burning passion. But But that's all I have for right now. I'm either going to get into writing or sketching when I wake up. I don't know. And then I'm going to start edit number 3, 2, 3, something, whatever it is, of Man of Darkness at some point today. So that'll be in here at some point too. But until then, I'm going to go lay down and hope that the echoey goes away eventually. Hey guys, it is currently 12:12 p.m. and welcome to I Haven't Slept Yet. I did go back to my room around 8 or 8:30 or so. By the time I was done finishing stuff up in the living room and whatever, and then I back there watched YouTube and stuff until about 9:30 because 9:30 is around the time that I start getting tired, so my plan was to go to sleep at 9:30, like I've been doing. However, at right about 9:30, my brother came out here in his big loud truck and scared the big dog, so she barked and ran out of the room and then barked at the window for 10 minutes and then realized that my brother also had a friend with him that she doesn't know, so she barked at him through the window too. And since then, since 9:30 to now at 12:14, they've been shooting guns. And you can hear the little one. Neither one of them likes guns at all. Rightfully so. I don't blame them. I don't like them either. I don't like gunshots. But the big one here is laying on the bed, Roxy, and she's panting. She's very nervous. They're both very nervous. She keeps pacing the hallway. They don't know what to do. He's in the laundry room barking and whimpering and jumping at the gate. He doesn't know what to do. I can't sleep through that. And when my brother does leave, they will both be very, very nervous and antsy for about an hour afterwards if I have any hint based upon previous interactions with this same situation that they always seem to do right as I'm getting ready to go to sleep. They never wait until 3:30 when I'm awake, so here we are. So I have done my best to pretend that I will be able to go to sleep, but I can't. So finally, I went over to my grandma and grandpa's house to get water, and now I'm back over here, turning the computer on, which is what you can see in the reflection of my glasses, and I'm going to get to work until I can go to sleep. By the time I'm able to sleep, it will throw off my sleep schedule. I will hopefully just take a nap, and that will get me through at some point. But until then, I'm going to work on Cut to the Kill. I'm going to attempt to remake the covers so that way they come out correctly this time. It shouldn't be a huge process. They sent me an email that basically I have to go through something else to put in the page number and the page size and all of that shit again like I did the first time for their template. And I'm going to be really mad if the link that they sent me is to that template again. Because it's what I already used. And if it is, I will send them another email. But I need to remake the covers so I can put them on the KDPs so I can reorder the proofs, whatever. But outside of that, I don't have any, like, significant goals. I need to do that, and at some point I need to make the large print cover book mock-ups, which I use for, like, promotion purposes and stuff like that. But I'm going to go make coffee and set out my fruit for a smoothie that needs to thaw for like half an hour. So if I'm still awake in half an hour, then I'll have a smoothie for lunch and coffee. So that's the goal. And then I guess depending on how the rest of the day goes, I'm going to start editing Man of Darkness at some point and I don't know, format some stuff on TLA potentially, and we'll go from there and see what happens. But either way, I will give you guys an update when I have one to give. If everything works out, maybe I'll literally get like 2 seconds into this and then I'll be able to go to sleep, but I don't think that's how it's going to work. So I'll see you guys later on in the afternoon with an update, presumably on the Cut to the Kill covers and stuff, which I still won't be able to show you, but I can give you an update on what's going on. And then we'll go from there. But I have stuff to do, and if I can't sleep, I might as well do that stuff. So I'll see you guys at some point. Alrighty, it is 1:19 p.m. My iPad is busy uploading a video to Google Photos, so I'm recording on my phone.
I redid the cover for the normal font and the large font editions of Cut to the Kill. I requested a proof for the normal edition, and I'm currently doing the same for the large font. The thing that the customer service rep sent me was a Microsoft Excel sheet, and it gives you the dimensions of what the cover has to be and what the spine width should be and all that shit, which is what the template that they provide to you is also supposed to do. The difference is that this is the correct size. So there's that. So I opened up Designer and put in those measurements for the normal cover and the large cover, and then I imported both of them into their respective things and exported them as PDFs so I could put them into KDP, and they looked okay in the thing. Everything extended past the second dotted line and everything fell into the right place, and no text was covered by the barcode, and everything looked the way it was supposed to the first time. So I'm hoping that everything goes okay this time, so we'll see. At this point, I'm going to open up whatever app it is that I use to do the mock-ups and stuff. It's like an online Photoshop thing. I couldn't tell you what the hell it's called off the top of my head. But I'm going to open up that and make the large font version of the mock-ups. I already have the one done for the normal font version. I did that when I did the original cover for the proofs and stuff. But that's pretty much the last thing I need to do, and then I need to do promotional stuff, but at the moment I don't know if I want to do that today. I don't know. I'm exhausted at this point. I'm like 2 hours away from being up for 24 hours. So I'm doing what I can here. I've got coffee and a smoothie. I'm pretty much just trying to hold out until my brother leaves so I can go to sleep. That's it. At this point, if I were to go to sleep, my alarm would still go off at 3:30. I don't. But my brother and his friend are still here, so it's been a long day. But yeah, I'm going to open up that thing and do the mock-ups for the large print one, and then go from there. The proofs should be ready to put an order in within like 4 hours, and then I should get them by next Friday, let's say. Depends. That's the plan. I'm going to do those things, and then we'll go from there and see if my brother's still here by then and if I can go to sleep or not. So I'll give you guys an update soon. Alright, it's 2:05 p.m. and I'm in the process of making the mock-up for the large print cover of Cut to the Kill, but Chrome isn't responding, or the image editor thing isn't responding, but either way, I don't. My brother left a little bit ago, so I'm gonna finish this little bit that I have here of my smoothie, and then I'm gonna put my coffee in the fridge and brush my teeth and go to sleep. I don't know, I'll set my alarm for like 4:30. I don't want to sleep forever. I guess maybe I'll set it for 5 and go from there. But I'm gonna try to get some sleep, and when I wake up, I'm going to order the Cut to the Kill proofs. Both of them are ready for order. The requests have been submitted and approved or whatever. So my next step is just to order them. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do when I wake up, and then hopefully the large print cover mock-ups is the second thing, assuming that it works. But that is the plan. Hopefully things go relatively well, but until then I'm going to attempt to get some sleep.
Alrighty, it is 5:12 in the morning on the 11th, and I haven't written anything yet. I haven't done anything book related today. Yesterday after I woke up, I think I managed to sleep until about 6, so I've been running on about 3.5-ish hours of sleep. I think that adds up somewhere in there. I didn't get to sleep until sometime after 2:30. But I woke up around 6 or so, and then I ordered my proofs of Cut to the Kill. This will be attempt number 2, and hopefully things are okay this time. And then I did the large print cover mock-up, which is when you put them on a little thingy. If I can find the one for Ashes in the Light, I'll show you what that is in case you don't know. Yeah, it's this thing. This is a mock-up. There you go. I made the large print cover one of that for Cut to the Kill. I had the normal one done for a while, and then also I made the promotional posts for Twitter and Instagram and stuff, which look like this, except for the ones that I made today were for Cut to the Kill. And I made one with the normal print and one with the large print cover, and so on and so forth. But you guys won't get to see that until the pre-order goes live. But I did that, and then I think that was it. I think I uploaded some stuff to Google Photos, and then after that I was pretty much done. I printed off some stuff related to the refund, so I had the invoice from that. But other than that, I didn't do anything. I was tired, I was exhausted, my joints are stiff as hell, and my joints are just as exhausted as I was. So once I was done with that, I didn't want to do anything. It also just took me forever to get through all of it, but I finally got through it, all done, so on and so forth. Yeah, after that I just wasn't in the mood to do any editing. I wasn't ready to do any drawing or any more writing or anything like that, and I still haven't been in the mood to do any writing or editing or anything like that. I think I'm going to attempt now to work on Untitled Mysteries for a little bit and see what happens. I don't know how much I'm going to accomplish. My main goal is just to stay up until 8, and then go from there. At the moment, I'm not tired. My joints are still sore. My joints are still relatively exhausted, but I myself am not tired, which is something. So I think I'm going to go ahead and attempt to finally do some writing here. I'm going to turn on YouTube on the TV and have something playing there in the background, and we'll go from there. But I don't know how much I'll accomplish before I go to bed. I don't care if I meet my word goal this morning or if I meet it later on in the day or whatever, but regardless, I will give you guys an update at some point.